Forever in my mind, only you. The pieces in my life go away with you. Forever in my mind, only you. The pieces in my life run away with you. You're my first love. You're my first love. You're my first love. You're my first love.
You can't do it. And so there's all these little things that
Physics intervenes.
Exactly. That physics and just reality intervenes once the evidence started to come out. And they've never really acknowledged any of that. That's all just kind
They've
of...
never acknowledged it.
No. I mean, how could you? There's no acknowledging to be done.
What did Levi Hancock just say?
After UNC and Captain Greenway, about 15 to 18 before 19.
He took out 2 windows.
He took out 2 women.
Yeah. And by the way, by then, Lombardo was busy being chief of police in Lahaina, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not mistaken.
Right?
Yeah.
So he was at his next important job.
Where is he now?
I don't know. That's a good question. Someone should track him down.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no.
And maybe move far away from him. But so that's the room. And just the room, just the footage of that, just that is enough to say it's all horse shit. And you have to go back to square one and start over with what actually did happen.
And no one who put out that story, no official in charge, either Clark County Sheriffs, LVMPD, FBI, no one has ever explained how Stephen Paddock could have locked himself out,
to my knowledge,
of his adjoining suite.
Yep. But they also don't explain how the locks appear to have been tampered with. There's a whole bunch of weird locks. So someone, I forget his name, I have him sourced in my notes. He got the door logs from the hotel. I don't know if he had a source at the hotel or something, but he got the official, because the Las Vegas surveils everything, and they have logs of the locks of every single room, of when it's closed, when it's open, whether it was open from the inside or the outside, the deadbolt status. And they have the time recorded and everything. And there's a shot heard by a witness earlier in the day at like 3:30 in the afternoon, which is kind of maybe related, but it's sort of a different story. But then throughout the day there, in the afternoon, the deadbolts start doing really weird things where it's like open, close, open, close, open, close. And then at one point, what does it do? The door is open from the inside, logged, and then the next log is deadbolt unlocked, meaning that after some weird deadbolt stuff has been happening, then at a certain point, it displays something that's physically impossible, which is that the door was open before it was unlocked, and then it was unlocked, which would imply, based upon, this is what other researchers, kind of gathered at the time, and I would agree, based on what I've seen of the evidence that they pulled out, is that means that you have just hacked the keycard system so that you can maybe remotely be unlocking and locking these doors, or you have some sort of altered access to these rooms. And that would start to explain how the locks could be locked from the inside with no one in there, right? Because if you throw away the garbage Stephen Paddock story, you still have to explain how you wound up with 2 suites with a dead man inside with the bolts locked from the inside. and no broken windows.
On either side.
Yeah, on either side. Well, actually, I believe we aren't entirely clear because we have some helicopter footage, we have some body cam footage, and we have this bullshit narrative. I believe that the window in the other suite was broken out. And I think that we have that on the helicopter footage.
I want to come back to center. I'm going to come back to center. Is it this bus?
Yeah, it's an open line with a female saying they're recruiting. Female saying they're recruiting.
It's over there. It's over there. It's over there. It's over there.
Control, that is correct. Shots. Shots fire. Shots fire. Shots fire. Shots fire. Shots fire. Shots fire from Mandalay Bay. Shots fire. Shots fire. Control, that is correct. Shots fired from Mandalay Bay. There's many people down. Stage left.
Stay on this side. Can you cover?
Stay with them!
And I think you can kind of see it, like, it's a little hard to make it out and like some of the photos taken from the ground that night, but there are some HD photos where you can kind of make out that it looks like there is kind of a broken window in the other room, but it's Paddock's room where the majority of the gunfire allegedly came from. That's where you see this police entrance where they can't find the window that's broken out and all that. So
I guess the picture that emerges is one in which the facts not only don't support the narrative, the story, but they're like completely at odds with. It's not a close call. It's not like, oh, did I see someone on the grassy knoll? I'm not sure. Yeah. Let's look at the.
It's not like Butler where you have to get 10 miles deep into the reporting to be like, wait, what is with these cell phones?
This is just transparently fraudulent.
Yeah, like right in the original video evidence, you can see the helicopters in the original footage that people put out from their cell phones. You can hear in the original evidence that was all over the internet that night. You can just hear the gunfire and know that it's not ARs with bump stocks. It's just not, right? And then you can obviously hear all the testimony from all of the people of all of these other things that happened that night that are complete lies. They're all made up. It's just people hearing echoes 2 hours later.
So this is why I went out to Las Vegas twice in 2017, but then just got caught up in life.
There's always more stories.
Yeah, or short attention span. I'm not making excuses, but I didn't realize that the corpus of counter evidence was so enormous. It certainly merits an FBI investigation.
Oh, it certainly does. But here's the thing: is I think they know everything that happened.
But was there ever an official FBI investigation?
No. Well, yeah. It depends on how you define it. The FBI was involved in the original investigation, and I believe that the FBI did rule on, a certain element of this, and then the LVMPD put out their own report as well, and they put out a behavioral analysis of Paddock like a year later or something like that.
And I remember two things, but the FBI signed off on the totally absurd official conclusion.
Yeah.
They did. Okay.
58 Americans dead, over 800 injured, and today, after nearly 16 months of investigation, The FBI has found no specific motive in that Las Vegas massacre.
Today, the FBI announced its inquiry into the 1 October mass shooting is complete without any conclusion on why.
No clear motive in the 1 October shooting. The FBI issuing its final report today. The FBI issuing its final report today. The FBI issuing its final report today. It offers just limited insights into what actually fueled the nation's worst shooting rampage.
Well, no motive. That is the conclusion the FBI has come up with in its investigation into the Las Vegas mass shooting.
So this is the report that the FBI released today. They spent more than a year investigating, and as you can see, it's not even 3 full pages.
I believe that we will have a report that will be finalized before the anniversary date. Now, that's a long time for some people. But speaking for the FBI, that's light speed. All right? And again, it will be thorough.
They did, okay.
I believe so.
And B, his brother, I remember, got busted for kiddie porn.
Yeah, I don't actually know much about that.
I don't either, but I
it.
just having lived in D.C. my whole life, I associate.
It was a while after the fact, right?
Yeah, and it's like a joke in Washington. The kiddie porn. I mean, kiddie porn is disgusting, and I couldn't be more opposed to it. I hate pornography in general, but kiddie porn specifically has a reputation in D.C., not among ignorant people, but among people who pay attention, as like the hallmark of a manufacturer's story. Like, oh, he got arrested for kiddie porn. He can't talk or whatever. And as soon as I heard that, I was like,
George Zinn at
very much
Charlie
like
Kirk
George Zinn
assassination. So
people are laughing about that. Who I know. Oh, of course, the guy's busted for kiddie porn.
Yeah.
Of course,
shut him up. Get him away from the story.
Look, I have no specific evidence about George Zinn or about Stephen Paddock's brother, but that is a very well known. It's a joke. It's a cliche.
Yep. And especially when it's just so coincidental. There's like, yeah, there are sickos out there, but is it just is it always that the brother or associated, the witness, are they always the ones? Are they the sickos?
They're always into kiddie porn, and you can't talk to them.
But so you kind of bring us back to an interesting place here, where once you throw the narrative out, you're like, all right, where do you even start with this? And for me, where you start is Stephen Paddock. Is like, who is this guy?
Yes,
who is he really? And I need to do even more in this. Back when I got into this story, there was just a million directions and I didn't go far enough down them. And I was doing that again more recently a little bit. Because who is Stephen Paddock, right?
Yeah.
And why the fuck would he even have been there? Because it is factual that he did have all these guns in the room. It is factual that he did rent the room. He was there. And there's, the picture emerges a little more when you look at his backstory, which is the basics is that he was 60-ish years old at this point. And back in like the 80s, into like the late 80s, he had worked at a defense contractor that was a predecessor to, I believe it was Lockheed Martin. And it's not like he was like, some commando shooting guns, as far as I'm aware. I think he was, in some sort of office element of this defense contractor. And then I forget if he hopped directly into real estate. I think he had one sort of like intermediary where he was doing, not sales, but he was still kind of like adjacent to the defense industry, kind of end of the 80s. And then he got into real estate. And then allegedly he developed a gambling problem. And so he had, a net worth of several $1 million allegedly, but then he allegedly gambled it down over time. There's a lot of dispute over whether he was making lots of money gambling or not. But
I remember that.
Yeah, right. But that little detail about him having worked in the defense industry in the past and then going into like the nondescript real estate is like, that's not suspicious on its face. Lots of people change careers over time. But it is a little interesting that a guy that used to work, and I don't have any proof of what I'm about to say, it's just kind of conjecture based upon that. But it's interesting that a guy that used to work in the defense contracting industry back in kind of his prime years, like in his 30s sort of, Then he goes into sort of a nondescript industry where your income can be fluid and things, you can kind of be traveling, you can be in property, all these things. And then he winds up with what looks like an awful lot like a kind of deep statey sort of an arms deal sort of thing, an arms deal that's involved in this absolute mass shooting. That does give me pause and question of like, was he a private citizen that was stocked? Because we'll get into the evidence that he thought he was doing an arms sale in a little bit. But I believe that he thought he was going to sell those guns. And I think that's why he had them all there. And that comes down to the 3 women that were on the room with him. But the moment that you realize that you're being lied to about him being the shooter, you need an explanation for why the hell is he there with all these fucking guns? Because, like I've been to Vegas and I didn't bring, a whole arsenal of weapons with me and a whole arsenal of loaded magazines as well.
Right. I mean, you don't bring, 6 rifles to go deer hunting or any. How many rifles did he have?
I believe it was 25 rifles. Well, it was, It was 25 weapons in the room, I believe was the final count. Might have been 24 in the room. And he had 1 revolver and 1 bolt action rifle, and then all the rest were AR platforms. And then he also had a whole bunch of weapons at his other 2 houses as well. He had like 25 other guns at his other houses. And he just bought a bunch for this.
And he was knowledgeable about guns. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
So who were the 3 women and why do we think he was planning to sell them?
Well, at first they didn't exist. But then investigative journalists dug and dug and dug, and they found out that there were 3 other women on the hotel reservation officially. Their names were on the hotel reservation. The hotel knew they were there. And I believe that they were checked into the side suite, basically, is my assumption. I don't know if that was proven or not, but the side suite was booked with Stephen Paddock's girlfriend's credit card, Mary Lou Danley. And these 3 women, I have their names written down. We know their first names because their first names were said, I believe it was on one of the police body cameras that was eventually released during the night.
All right. Okay, so room 135 on the 32nd floor, registered guest, last name is Paddock.
There's also 3 females that are registered to that room. First name is Joanne, Joanne. Last name. Second subject, Laura. Last name. Third subject, Katie. Last name. They checked in on 25 September, scheduled to check out on October 2nd.
But we don't know their last names. Witnesses described having allegedly seen him gambling that day or the day before with women that looked to be of Hispanic descent or like Central South American descent. And so their names kind of match. Maybe they were some sort of Latina women. He had Tannerite in his car is a key piece of this. He had 50 pounds of Tannerite in his car, which is usually used when you want to make things go boom, not like I'm going to blow up a building, but like we're going to go shoot in the desert and have a great time.
50 pounds is a lot of Tannerite.
It's a lot of Tannerite.
So Tannerite is...
But he also had a lot of guns.
Ammonium nitrate.
Yeah.
And you can buy it in gun stores, and it detonates not with fire, but with velocity, with force. Yeah. And so you hit it with a rifle round and it explodes, and it's powerful. And 50 pounds is enough to take your house out.
Go ahead. Cover your ears. Cover your ears.
It's that Jif bottle.
Watch that.
Wow.
All right, here's the old barn. Today the barn goes away. So what we've got here is 164 pounds of Tannerite in a Rubbermaid tub. Bench ready now, but the Tannerite will be sitting on the bucket underneath these main beams of the barn. Alright, so we cleared out all the metal railing, the cattle fencing from here, and that was out behind the back of the barn. It's back there laying on the ground, just flat back behind the hill. But we tried to clear out all the metal. That'll be the last piece we take out with the Tannerite up on the target.
Oh my God. You wanted it down. Holy crap.
Yeah.
And so we don't really know why he had that or what he was doing with it. But my understanding is that Tannerite can be used for lots of things, but it is often used to like stage like a fun gun shooting moment. Like
I've never seen it used for anything other than that.
Yeah, right.
And it's dangerous. I mean, for sure.
absolutely.
I've had some problems with it.
Yeah.
It's definitely powerful.
Yeah. And so the Tannerite, a lot of people speculated, and I tend to defer to their speculation about it because I have never shot Tannerite. I don't know about it. People speculated that given these multiple kind of points of information, is that maybe one line of reasoning would be that he thought he was selling a bunch of weapons to someone rich. This is not something that's fact-based, like we know for sure, but we do know that 3 women, first name only, that we're not supposed to talk about, were registered to this room as well. And we do know that he had the room full of guns, and we do know that he didn't do the shooting. At least I feel pretty confident that I know that. And so then it's like, well, why the hell would you have a room full of guns? And it is not uncommon to sell guns in Las Vegas. I mean, go to SHOT Show, right? And so one possible explanation that might start to put some of those pieces into place is maybe he met some beautiful girls that knew a guy, something along those lines, that was like, hey, I know this really rich guy that wants to buy some guns, and you know guns, right? Maybe he got honeypotted. Maybe it was some sort of operation targeting him to recruit him for this thing. Because, you know, you don't have to just explain it from Stephen Paddock's brain of like, why is this maybe arms sale happening? But you have to explain it from like the big picture explanation of why did whatever organization orchestrated all of this, why did they get Stephen Paddock into that room to do that thing, right?
My character is Agent Lacey, and I try to seduce Seth and James into doing this pretty ridiculous mission.
Would you, like a drink or some of Aaron's cocaine?
This is not our cocaine. This is
No, I'm sure it's not.
So, how can we, what can we do you for?
Yeah, to what do we owe the pleasure?
Well, Aaron, the point is, we're talking about nuclear nations at war with each other.
Nuclear.
He does have one tactical advantage over the West.
Ba-bam. Explosions all over my face.
I'm sorry, we had kind of a long night last night. Why are you telling us all this?
Take him out.
Take him out.
Like for drinks?
No. Take him out.
Take out. Like to dinner?
Take him out to a meal?
take him out.
Like on the town?
Party?
No,
Are you, Agent Lacey, going to be involved?
I'm going to be in your ear, by your side, every step of the way.
You know what? Actually, I think we should talk about it more. Okay,
All right. We're just gonna go talk.
We're just gonna talk.
By
about
all
it.
means.
I think we need to do this. She is so cool.
You don't see what's happening, and it's so obvious. It's crazy,
What?
man. They're honeypotting us. What? It's an attractive spy woman who lures men into doing shit they're not supposed to do. How can you not see that?
Because that is so sexist.
Is it?
This is 2014. Dude, women are smart now.
Do you actually think she just so happens to have everything you find attractive? Bangs, giant tits, glasses? They're fake, man.
Fake glasses?
She honeypots us. It's an attractive spy woman who lures men into doing something they're not supposed to do. They're fake, man.
Fake glasses? What happened to your glasses?
I got LASIK.
She's beautiful, she's smart, she's kind of like the ultimate all-in-one.
You just say yes to everything she wants.
We're going to really learn a lot more about what happened in Vegas once we learn the identities of these three women.
All right. Okay, so room 135 on the 32nd floor. Registered guest, his last name is Paddock. On the 32nd floor. That's where they believe the shooting's coming from. The guest name's Paddock, P-A-D-D-O-C-K. O-C-K. First name Steven with a P-H. And he's registered there with 3 other females. I don't know if you want all their names. Are you there? Yeah, there's 3 other females staying there with him. I don't know if they have anyone on that floor yet. Last I heard, SWAT was on the 31st floor. I don't know if they're making that up.
October 1, 2017, 23 hours and 57 seconds.
I've got a couple units up in the control room, and they're briefing that on the 32nd floor, room 135, possible suspect ID is going to be last name Easy, Adam, David, Ocean, Charlie, King. First name Steven with a PH. That's who the room is registered to. Break. There's also 3 females that are registered to that room. First name is Joanne, Joanne. Last name. Second subject, Laura. Last name. Third subject, Katie. Last name. They checked in on 25 September. Scheduled to check out on October 2nd.
I lean towards, speculatively, that he was probably selected as a patsy for being some kind of vulnerable, unimportant guy that was, down on his luck a little bit maybe and wanted to make some money selling guns. Maybe he was more involved. Maybe he had some intelligence connections. I don't know. But I suspect that he was basically recruited by some hot girls to sell some guns to someone rich or something along those general lines. And so he's bringing all these guns to Vegas.
He took out 2 windows. He took out 2 windows.
Or he's, stocking his room with all these guns to go out and shoot in the desert the next day, maybe. He didn't bring the Tannerite up to his room. He left the Tannerite in the car. But if you went to Vegas, you probably wouldn't leave an arsenal of guns in your car.
No.
You would want those secured in your room. And he has all these magazines loaded, right? All these magazines are loaded. And that would make sense if he's trying to do a mass shooting. But the moment that you realize that the evidence just does not support him doing the mass shooting, then it's like, well, why are the magazines all loaded? Why is this arsenal here ready like this? And if you were going to go shoot in the desert, that would be a thing you would do, is you would load a bunch of magazines. So hard to, we don't know exactly why those pieces fit together, but that's one of the most common theories. Is that these 3 women that were on the room with him, in the side suite probably, that they probably had some sort of middleman connection, because how do women usually
see
get
any
used?
motive? I mean, did the authorities ever give us a hint of a motive?
Well, let's go to our correspondent, Jonathan Hunt, who's in our West Coast newsroom with the details of this report. Jonathan?
Good evening, Harris. For those who lost loved ones or who survived that terrible traumatic night, it is a disappointing end to a 10-month investigation that has left us no closer to uncovering a motivation for the massacre. Paddock opened fire, as you said, from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, killing 58 people attending that concert. He had spent several days bringing in an arsenal of weapons and ammunition to the hotel, but as seen on this security camera footage, nothing about his luggage caused alarm among hotel employees. And while he had complained to friends about feeling constantly in pain or fatigued, and his doctor described him as, quote, odd and possibly bipolar, nothing about his behavior raised any red flags.
By all accounts, Stephen Paddock was an unremarkable man whose movements leading up to October 1st didn't raise any suspicion. An interview with his doctor indicated signs of a troubled mind, but no troubling behavior that would trigger a call to law enforcement.
Because to murder strangers...
No, they objectively said we have no idea what the motive was.
They said that out loud.
No, yeah, exactly. They and you can watch our favorite sheriff. He has a couple different versions of the quote of like, we figured out the what, the when, the where, the who. The one thing we don't know is the why.
But the why is the one thing that matters.
Exactly.
And that's so often a theme that runs through these things. And when there is a clearly articulated motive, as in a manifesto, sometimes it's suppressed. It's like, I mean, Osama bin Laden's manifesto was suppressed. It's still
Hugely.
being suppressed.
Even though it went viral on TikTok recently.
Right. So I do think it's essential to know what he used a weapon. Of course he did. He killed people. I know. But why? I've got 1 million weapons. I would never kill anybody. So what's the difference between me and him? That's the thing you need to know.
You bring up Osama bin Laden right as it's a good time to start talking about the Saudi angle on this thing, which is super interesting. Because you're right, the why for Stephen Paddock is non-existent, and that's the official narrative, is that there's no idea why.
Can I just give the context too, the political context? This is less than a year after Trump's election.
Yeah.
This is a Jason Aldean concert.
Yep.
These are Trump voters.
Yep.
Jason Aldean is not a political activist, but he's open about his politics and they're Trump aligned. He's also a great guy.
Yeah.
I will say. But so these are Trump voters who get killed. At the time, less than a year after Trump's election, all anyone's talking about is Trump. People are extremely exercised about it. So it's hard to ignore that kind of.
I think it's impossible to ignore it.
We went after Iraq. They did not knock down the World Trade Center, okay? It wasn't the Iraqis that knocked down the World Trade Center. We went after Iraq. We decimated the country. Iran's taken over, okay. But it wasn't the Iraqis. You will find out who really knocked down the World Trade Center because they have papers in there that are very secret. You may find it's the Saudis, okay?
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no. Every time the sun goes down, I let you take control.